guys, John Carhill from Ebb Tide Tackle, back to have a chat about lure selection for southern Oman. 2 weeks out from my latest trip over there for the April Reef Raiders. This is my excited face. No, really. Lure selection for light tackle. A lot gets talked about Oman and Monster GTs, which is, it's clear why they're the biggest GTs on the planet, produces them year after year. But what gets forgotten a lot is the absolute world-class light tackle fishing, both out of the islands and inshore along the Omani coastline. It's crazy. There are so many world records swimming around there if you chose to target fish that way. There is a lot of big fish. Permit, like seriously 10 kilo permit, bigger, that eat lures, diamond, trevally, pennant fish, massive shari, which are spangled emperor, various gropers, the crazy Omani bream, if you're Australian, bream. If you're from the other parts of the world, bream. I think it's been scientifically proven to be in a very small geographical range, these fish. They're massive. We've seen them up to 70 centimetres and they smash topwater lures in pack attacks. If you like bream fishing, it's as good as it gets. What else is there? Mahi-mahi, many different species of trevally, big eyes, gold spots, fins. Sometimes you get smaller to moderate GTs. There's black-tip trevally, massive queenies. There's like 1.20 metre queenies swimming around there. Amberjack. How could I forget the AJs? Especially early season. If you go there in the October, November, December, AJs are in just such big numbers. A bit different at the time of year I'm going, where they're not so often caught, but early season, it's an absolute highlight is the AJ fishing. Topwater AJs doesn't get much better than that, does it? Massive long-tailed tuna, sada, which are bonito, I think. Mac tuna, I think yellowfin tuna have popped up occasionally. Wahoo, Spanish mackerel. There is a lot of different species you can encounter at this location, depending on your luck and depending on the time of the year. 5th trip, got this down to a pretty fine art now. My first choice for sure is smaller, slim profile sinking stick baits. My second choice are small, relatively slender profile poppers, especially for the bream. They love them. And my third pick would be small, slender profile floating stick baits. Add to that the AJs though, a little bit bigger, a little bit outside the profile of what we're talking about here, and I'll show you a couple of lures later, specifically about the AJs. So this is just about what am I packing this year, and I'm packing a lot of lures. You go through a lot of lures if the fish are on gnarly territory, especially the emperor. They'll bury you in the time it takes you to get tight. So expect to go through lures. Don't leave yourself short by not having enough. So I'll count them up later, how many I'm taking, but it's a heap. I've run out there before, I've gone so low. So I'm not going to go in any particular order, but taking multiples of the Jackfin Pelagus 90S. It's proven, fits the bill perfectly over there. Chout curve point, 21 bellies, and a mixture of tail hooks, Rinkadako there, 1.0 Rinkadako. It's pretty beefy, but pretty much I know anything Oman is likely to offer on PE3 tackle, which is what I fish inshore, PE3. The Blaze Burn, 20 gram. And I've got multiples of this again in both the floating configuration and the level sink configuration. So the Blaze Burn's getting a pretty good run over there, does well. Probably my next cabbie is Orion's. I like the Mr. 30 Orion, which is made specifically for southern Oman. Eric, Orion Lures, fishes Oman a lot, and he does a lot of tweaking of what he reckons is the perfect lure for over there, and the Mr. 30 Oman is right up there. Best Day bungee casts. Did the job really nicely over there. They've caught a lot of good fish. That one's got standard hook configuration. That will get straightened out, probably. This one's beefed up with the shouts. Same configuration as I've got on the jack fin. They go good. I've got some prototype. I always love a prototype. Amagari Lingos. Multiple Mr. Joe's. Orion Mr. Joe's. Bit of a fatter profile than the Mr. 30s I showed you before, but they go good. They love them. ASWB SS25. Caught some nice fish in Oman on this lure before too. A twister Orion. Love that cut shape vibes. Hardcore. See that angle on the bib, on the face of the lure. Maria Blues Code sinking. They go very well there. Now I'm taking these lures for the first time. Megabass X Blades. They suit their profile beautifully at 50 grams that I've got. Let's have a quick look at the poppers that I'm taking. One of them's not here. It is at in transit. Blaze Sathatha 20 is coming, and it looks mad. Just need to get my hands on it. But both these lures have worked really, really well for me. Orion Oman pop. Little popper made by Eric again from Orion Lures. Does the job really, really well on the bream. As does the little Attic Gecko. Caught my PB Oman bream on one of these. I think it was 65 centimetres, a beast of a fish. Goes real well. Those smaller poppers on the bream is actually more P2 fishing. P3 is a little bit heavy, so you kind of need two outfits over there, P2 and P3. Okay, that rounds out that. So we're moving on to what am I taking as far as floating stick baits are concerned. Jackfin Salty Dog 100, beautiful little lure. Fitted with good quality decoy hooks too, straight out of the pack. Ow! Ow, 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 sharp. Jackfin Stylo 210. Never go anywhere without one of them. I mentioned before that early season in Oman can be a crazy time for amberjack. Here's just 4 little essentials, and there's probably a 5th I'll mention that I would take. Here is skipjack, 60 or a 90. Nothing better than seeing a pack attack of big AJs climb over a popper. Orion Plug Tropic 80. Also, the one I was going to mention, Bigfoot 70. Ed does really, really well on that. Strategic Angler Micros S. Got amazing runs on the board in southern Oman. Amagari Lane 145. And either in sinking or floating, probably prefer sinking, Megabass or Poi. Perfect profiles for over there. Ideally I take P2 and P3. Generally run 50 pound leader on the P3 outfit, and I might go as light as 30 on the P2, balancing between some good scuff protection on the rocks and against fish, but not killing the lure's action. I'll generally use either a small NT and a split ring on the front of all my lures, or with this real light stuff, sometimes I tie a loop knot. On some trips over there, I have done loads and loads of inshore, especially in the early season, light tackle. In these trips, it's kind of a little bit dictated, of course, by what you and your crew want to do, what's happening, and of course the weather. The big GTs are on. Sometimes you really don't get to the light tackle stuff that much. Other times you find you're doing heaps of it. So take enough gear. Don't forget it. Don't get too focused on the mega GTs and cut off that part of your trip, because it's an amazing experience. Yes, I'll say it, I would go to No Boundaries Oman just for the light tackle. I'm not going to do that, but I would, I think. It's that good though. So that's a guide to what's in my tackle box in 2018 heading over. Wish me luck. Be interesting to have a look post-trip and see what works. There's a heap of stuff I haven't shown you that is what I would just call experimental. It's lures that probably you would think don't belong there. I'm not going to go into them now, but hey, if it works out, you'll see them on the flip side. So off we go. Any questions? Please do not hesitate to leave them in the comments. We really appreciate your subscription, and thumbs up, thumbs down, give us some love. That would be awesome. Thanks.